If you are like me and are sitting a lot more lately, you might have experienced that certain parts of your body feel more tight. Due to the pandemic, we are spending more time sitting in front of a screen while not always maintaining the best posture. To counteract the increased sitting time, it's worth incorporating a morning stretching routine into your day. I am fully aware that there also might be time restrictions. With your training, work, family time, and other life demands, it's not always easy to find time for rigorous stretching. But with the efficient routine I will show you today, stretching will become a lot more manageable. In today's video, I will show you 5 simple and efficient stretches that you can do every morning as a way to improve your general mobility without spending a lot of time. These stretches help prevent some common posture issues that come along with lots of sitting, and they also help you reach better range of motion in your strength workouts. The 5 stretches are a mix of dynamic and static stretches. I will first walk you through the different stretches and then give specific time and set recommendations. Let's dive into the first dynamic stretch of this routine, and that is the bird dog. The bird dog is done to enhance lower back stability mostly. With this exercise, you start on your hands and knees while maintaining a neutral spine. From this position, you raise your left arm and right leg while you keep the neutral spine. You want to prevent overly extending your back or having the spine in a flexed position. This is not the most intense dynamic stretch there is, but it's a nice way to get the routine started whenever you stretch in the morning. We don't want to immediately go into crazy intense stretches upon waking. The bird dog is a nice dynamic stretch to ease into things. In this morning routine, we do 2 sets of 12 reps per side for the bird dog. Next, it is time to work on shoulder mobility by doing a shoulder dynamic stretch. This can be done with both a towel or resistance band based on your equipment availability. A common struggle with sitting behind a desk is that it's tempting to let the shoulders and your neck roll forward. This is not to say that you need to have 100% perfect posture all the time, but we want to prevent that forward posture from becoming your new baseline. With this stretch, we open up your shoulders and help stretch the chest to promote a more upright posture. One study found that stretching the chest muscles has benefits for reducing a forward shoulder and head posture. Via stretches like the band or towel shoulder stretch, we aim to get these benefits. When you use a band, try to prevent using your triceps when you pull the band back. Keep the arms extended. With this stretch, we perform 2 sets of 12 reps. The third stretch is a pause deep squat. This stretch is specific to an exercise many of us perform, which is of course the barbell back squat. It is common for people to experience mobility issues like tight ankles or adductors, which prevents them from squatting deep enough. One of the simplest ways you can improve your squatting depth is by getting into a deep squat position and holding this position for 20 to 25 seconds. While holding the deep squat, you can move around a bit to focus more on areas that you feel are immobile. If you find it hard to stabilize yourself in this deep squat position, you can use an external object for extra support. Holding deep squats regularly is one of the tools that I've used personally to improve my squatting depth over the past years. I suggest 2 sets of 20 to 25 second holds. With the fourth stretch, we kick things up a notch. We now perform the dive bomber push-up, also known as the Hindu push-up. In the top position, the hamstrings and shoulders receive a good stretch, and as you move down into the ending position, you work on low back mobility. Now, this is not an easy stretch because it involves a good amount of upper body control, so if you can't currently do dive bomber push-ups, I suggest you hold the top position of the movement, which is often called the downward dog. I know the names of these stretches sound pretty random, I did not come up with it, but they are beneficial and that's what matters most. Doing 2 sets of 10 dive bomb push-ups or holding the downward dog for 2 sets of 15 to 20 seconds is a good aim. The fifth and last stretch is the pigeon stretch. With the pigeon stretch, we hit 2 birds with 1 stone, no pun intended. While with the front leg, we are stretching your glutes, on the back leg, your hip flexors achieve a good stretch. With all the sitting we do and abdominal exercises in which you raise your legs, it is common for the hip flexors to become quite tight and feel stiff. This stretch helps us lengthen the hip flexors, which is useful to counteract all the shortening the hip flexors go through in daily life and training. With the pigeon stretch, aim to keep your pelvis tucked. Whenever you stretch the hips, it's tempting for your low back to round since then the hip flexors need to stretch less. But by keeping a tucked pelvis, there is a greater stretch on the hip flexors. We aim for 2 sets of a 15-second hold per leg with this exercise. So if we summarize the entire morning stretching routine, we essentially have the following. First, we have bird dogs for 12 reps per side, followed by a banded shoulder stretch for 12 reps. after which you do a 20 to 25 second squat hold, then dive bomber push-ups for 10 reps, and lastly the pigeon stretch for 15 seconds per leg. Complete this set of exercises 2 times and you have a solid morning mobility routine on your hands. In total, this morning stretching routine takes you maybe 6 to 8 minutes max, so it's a very efficient way to get the day started. And we also have some stretches that are pretty challenging, so you can start your day in a fit way. But let's say you don't have 8 minutes to spare in a certain morning. This routine can still be done on another time of the day, like during your lunch break for instance. Especially during these times in which we sit at home more, it's beneficial to pay attention to posture to prevent future movement issues. And that was all for today's video. I hope you found this morning stretching routine helpful and you can put it into practice. If you found this video helpful, then leave me a thumbs up. Also subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video.